Alright everybody, here we are in another series in the Frank and Algo Stormgate tournament, Cluck of the Irish. And this one's going to be starring one of my friends, Yoru, the Infernal, rocking the blue colors today. And his opponent, where's his Archship flying to? Already out here. Playing random but getting the Celestial faction. This is Fiction. Check out those sweet red team colors. What? Yes, this is the red Celestial. And the Hexen of Yoru has now made it across the map. And what's she gonna do? She's gonna just fire a couple of her magic bolts at the old spaceship, saying, "Take that, spaceship." And now she's coming in to do her damage here. Actually, she just decides to teleport home. You know, you really can't kill those prisms if your opponent knows what they're doing. It can be annoying, of course. But the chance that you're actually going to get one is pretty low at this level. And it's two gaunts to go creeping for Yoru, so that's lighter than I normally like, but that's early gaunts as well. This is a conclave opening, and this is a creeping style that we've seen popularized a few patches ago, where you basically split up the tanking duties of your units as evenly as possible. The idea is you get one slime each on the gaunt, and then 3 slimes on your Hexen, who's a little more tanky. And then you kill the slimes that are on your Hexen because you don't want her to go down. So that was well done by Yoru, and well executed. And now taking the 3 Fiends, and I thought maybe going aggressive, but actually just being aggressive with the Fiends. The Fiends are running across the map. There are 2 Argents out to go do some creeping. Is this a Vector as well? And now the Vector jumps on top of the Fiends, trying to get the Fiend, gets one of them, pops it open, leaves its little guts. And the other 2 Fiends do get away. With a little bit of info about what to expect composition-wise. Saw Vector, I'm not sure actually if they saw the Argents. We saw the Argents. It definitely knows that there's some Vector tech out, and yeah, if I were Yoru, I would also move back from that, just because I think the Vectors with their maneuverability, especially without Reaper's Rush on your gaunts, they can probably kite you and pick you apart. Alright, Yoru's still creeping over here, and it looks like we're getting the same thing from Fiction. Going for the vision camps here. Sorry, I had to do a little admin duties there. Luckily, they were both just creeping. And just a little bit of a head start on the creeping for Yoru. And it's also turned into a little eco lead, it looks like, as Yoru has got the 3rd base up. Now, there is supply lead, actually, for Fiction. And, yeah, Fiction keeps adding to that lead. Okay, there's some clicks here. Oh, wow. Okay, so the Fiend comes in and sees there's more Argents coming out. Has it just been the 2? Oh, no, there are the rest. I'm like, where are the rest of those Vectors? So those are the Vectors. And now they're going to come across. And remember, there is still a little bit of an advantage for Fiction in terms of supply. So even with these Vectors split off. So Imps are going down. Now we see some Gaunts going down. And with a nice Delta jump away, it looks like those Vectors preserved themselves. They didn't lose any. And did get a Gaunt and an Imp. So pretty good. We're starting to see Yoru catch up a little bit with the supply. Now, being a little behind in supply doesn't hurt as much if you are an Infernal, as long as you are banking up some charges. Here we have Vectors. Delta jumping in, getting one more Gaunt. Although they are starting to get low. Oh, being joined by a handful more Vectors. The low ones, we're going to take the health camp. This should be enough for... Oh, I like that forward Vector to just warn of any possible attack. And... yeah, this also would signal to Yoru, okay, there are, 8, is that 8? 8 Vectors here. Look at this. Little scanner pup. A kitty, I should say. Hanging out there. Sees the units moving. And because the army is there, oh, very well positioned by Yoru to have some defensive units as well. The Delta jump on top of the Hellborn to take out a Hellborn was really nice, but at the cost of one Vector, I think. The rest are pretty low, but again, nice micro from Fiction, actually, to keep the low ones away and to focus fire the Fiends. Now, can he Delta jump to the other side of those woods? It doesn't look like he can. Maybe needs a scan to do that. And takes a few more Hellborn shots, which means another Vector goes down. And for Yoru, that is what he's hoping for, is can he pick off these forces one at a time before they get too big and do too much damage with their kiting. Argents and a few more Vectors coming to join, as well as an Animancer. Animancers are back on the menu. This is what Celestials are doing now. And I think it's because they're realizing Animancers are fairly versatile, and the fact that, in the past, they were largely relied upon for Dark Prophecies, which were really good and still remain a great spell. But you have Unseen Veil, you have the initial skill, I can't remember what that one's called, but you can drain energy and life. There's just some benefits to having them in your composition. At the moment, though, we are seeing a pretty scrambled engagement that has Fiction pushed up against the static defenses of Yoru, and that's never where you want to be. A lot of units go down, the Argents in particular. The few Vectors were able to scoot away, and this one Animancer who's late to show saying, yikes, I'm going home, don't want to be there. This Fiend, look, okay. Hiding behind the little thing and making me think something magical was happening. But no. So, looks like Yoru, having had that battle, that was certainly good for Yoru, and managed to get Yoru into a little bit of a supply lead when Yoru before was a little behind. And I do like this composition, which is a little bit, mixed. We have Hellborn there. We've got a Magmadon, which is good against those Argents. We've got Weaver to take out any key targets. And with more reinforcements being added here, a ton of Brutes just to be part of the front line. Gaunts being part of the staple. This is looking like a good army from Yoru. We're up by about 15 or 20 supply here. And it's Fiction's taking this base with Arc Station, Arc Fortress on the way. And Fiend's coming in for a little bit of a run by. And they find the collector array. Do we get a Sob's Watch? No, this is just going to go down. As the DPS of those Fiends is enough. A few Fiends are going to pay the price, but most of them run away. That was a really nice strike. Gonna delay mining for a while. And there's the Arc Fortress done. So Yoru's got this base certainly up. Ooh, this base is already going down. We are on, again, another full base up here. Look at all these nice production structures. We got our shadow cleft up, so you know what that means. Probably some spriggies. We already see them on the map. Also taking down the woods in the middle, making sure. Vectors pop in there, see a whole bunch of static DM pop out. And now Yoru's going to go for the mission camp with a 50 supply lead and nice control to try and split his units a bit. Try and go for a flank if you can. Oh, the poor chicken. Don't tell Frank that there was some chicken violence here in this game. It was unintentional, I'm sure. Look at those dark prophecies. Very nice, very nice. So many dark prophecies there. Haven't seen so many nice dark prophecies in a while. But the units just pushed through. A lot of fiends have shown up. An Archangel arrives, gets a good splatter down. But it gets taken out. Oh, it's the Arc Fortress that's getting focused by a lot of units there. Another Dark Prophecy. Pretty nice one, actually. Takes out some Spriggans. Animats are hanging out in the back. Juicing up again. Hoping she can get one more Dark Prophecy off, but she gets weavered in. And now we've just got a flow of units as there's a GG from Fiction in this first game. Alright, this is going to be our second game, and as you can see here, Fiction is now repping the Blue Infernal. Playing random again and getting the Infernal faction this time. And of course, staying on the Infernal faction is Yoru, repping the red. And here we are on Isle of Dread. And we've already got a Lumber Imp on the map, lumbering away as Hexens are doing their early morning hike. This is how you stay healthy. This is how you stay heart healthy, you know. Get out on the map. Walk down the Isle of Dread. You know, walk right past a couple bruisers and just ignore them, wave hi to them. Hey, Hexen. Hey, Mr. Bruiser. Hope you're having a good day bruising. And, you know, when you get a little tired, it doesn't matter how far you've walked, because you can just do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around. And that's what it's all about. So Fiction checking for a base, but not seeing one over there. Seeing some... Ooh! Hexen shows up. So we see a couple teleporting Hexens. But I do think that Yoru maybe got a little more information seeing the shrine. There's only a single vault for Fiction. There we go. What's that? Our conclave. Fiction, of course, may have got the information that needed in the sense that notice that these buildings were late. And because they were late, there's no reason to do that without putting down a shrine. Or just being bad. So you don't assume that your opponent that is second seeded is bad, so you assume there must be a shrine somewhere. And on this map, if you've played this map, you know, a dozen times or so, you know that it was probably just up here. We're on our third shrine here. Remember, 2 production structures here for Yoru, whereas it was much slower on the production for Fiction. In fact, so slow that the Conclave is still just finishing off right now. And the speed camp's been taken. And, yeah, where are those units? So, okay, this is cool. Yoru doing the same trick here with the Gaunts. The Brute just watching from the bushes. What a guy. Not even helping out. Just too thick. Saying, hey guys, couldn't we have sent a Lumber Imp over here too? And it was 3 early shrines. There's the third one up. Or 2 early shrines, I should say, on the 3 bases. And, it's, yeah, Greater Shrine on the way as well. And Hellforge on the way as well. So Yoru gonna transition from the eco for a bit into tech. We got Ritual Chamber almost finished here. And is that Greater Shrine done? Yes, Greater Shrine already done. With, oh yeah, Twilight Spire half finished as well. So Fiction has not gone the tech route, or sorry, not gone the eco route, it's gone straight tech. It's got 2 bases up and then says, let me just get my Greater Shrine. Let me get my Plague Axes and so on. Are Plague Axes already done? No. Oh yeah, because the Ritual Chamber was just... There we go. Almost done there. And Yoru back home. So Greater Shrine now finished. We did have Hellforge, and I don't see anything coming out of that yet. And we do see our Ritual Chamber slower, but maybe not surprisingly given the commitment to eco earlier on for Yoru. And Yoru is going to take out this camp. Where do we got? Oh, we got a drop underway, or at least in the works. That's why we had a speedy tech up to the Twilight Spire here. Not because tier 3. We're not up to tier 3 yet. And we'll keep an eye on this drop because it's moving across the map. Although these units also move in maybe to do some creeping, are at least in a potential to catch the flight path. Oh, I was going to switch vision, but you can only do that in replays, not when you're observing. So that means Yoru has moved right past as the drop shows up. Oh, there's a lucky mag there. Is the mag going to turn around? Oh, another one pops out. Looks like 3 imps went down and fiends popped out. And now those 3 fiends are going to go for this. That vault is getting torn up pretty quick. More fiends coming out of more imp kills. And like, okay, so Gaunt's popped out to clean that up. And it's Yoru who's like, fine, I need to do some damage here. Could take out the 3rd here, but remember, there are a lot of units left over here for Fiction. Fiction just brought a few units in the drop. And that drop still... That's not a drop. Where is the drop? Maybe the drop teleported home. But Yoru's going to try and make it happen. Push out here. Huge Nightfall. Huge Trample. That's going to take out some Gaunts and produce some Fiends for Fiction. But now it's Trample going the other way. And a pretty good dodge from Fiction, or at least to mitigate the damage. Meanwhile, there is a drop going on here, but some Brutes and Gaunts were pulled out, as well as a Manifest Shroudstone. And this army at the front here is pretty much done for, while some units are on retreat. So that got cleaned up. I don't think that worked out very well for Yoru. Yoru has very similar supply, so at least didn't take a terrible loss there. And let's see here. So that was a dropship taking that, and we got Shadow Flyers. Oh, very interesting. Okay, interesting. So the Shadow Flyers try and take out the dropship. The dropship drops, brings out Gaunts. Gaunts kill the Shadow Flyers, which turn into Fiends. Also, these 2 Fiends flying away. So that was a good exchange for Fiction, managing to do very well there. Yoru's taking out this camp here. And has some units kind of in a weird rally. This is a little bit of what I'll call a Yoru special. I've watched a number of his games lately, and he is pretty good at splitting his units, especially if he wants to like creep 2 different locations at the same time. But here we have a little bit of an encounter. It's the dropship. Gets found out by some units, and it gets chased away. But there are units on the other side, too. Of course, it is just a dropship. It can fly away. It doesn't have to engage. And now both of these camps have been taken by Yoru. And again, we see Yoru moving to take this camp, while also moving these units to try and take camps. And here we have an army versus army battle. This is a full army of Fiction versus only half of Yoru's army. So Yoru wisely says, I'm out of here. And actually turns to fight. I don't know if this is super good. There's a lot of units here for Fiction, and now there's Magmadons on top of all of them. A lot of these units going down, Megs going down, a couple low Megs, but now we're starting to get a few reinforcements showing up for Yoru, but I think having this engagement with half the army for the whole time is not going to work out good for Yoru. We do have a few last Magmadons being taken out. More reinforcements showing up. Ooh, more Megs as well, so this is at least good news. Ooh, a big ball of Megs, pretty much. But there are Weavers here, which help to neutralize that. There are also Megs of Fictions. The dropship above is good for maneuvering. Although for now, it looks like it was mostly just... Oh, it did. It maneuvered a couple of weak Megs out, letting them get back to the front, letting them get some damage done. Their DPS continues, in fact. And they take out a few Megs for their work. One of them is still there. Weaver's finally going down. Another Meg shows up with a huge trample through these units. And now it looks like it's Fiction in the retreat. This Magmadon is going to go down, even if it's sad to watch these fiends try and get it. Yoru choosing to retreat after that, which was a fairly good engage. But again, look at the supplies. Fiction is doing very well, staying just a little bit ahead, and also having a larger bank. It looks like Yoru is doing a better job of actually having some Therium to help him spend his bank, though. And that could turn out to be an advantage later on. Now, Yoru, are you going to go for this camp? It looks like. But is there going to be some follow-up aggression? It's Hellborns. Nothing in the Harbinger here. So Fiction is making use of the Hellborns where it doesn't look like Yoru is, and Hellborns are, at least at the moment, considered to be kind of strong and in all matchups. So we'll keep an eye on those to see if that's what's going to make the difference in these big engages. Having a few Hellborn in the back that get to rain down on top of the Magmadons is always good. Always good. Fiends getting on top of this base. They deny it, get the cancel, take the imp out, and Yoru's bases are... They're doing better. Here we have an imp coming down. Is it them trying to get a secret base or just scout imp? I'm not sure. But in the middle of the map, looks like we might have been engaged. Some Gaunts find the whole army basically. And Yoru's going to try and chase in here. This is a nice composition for Fiction as well, and it looks like we're kind of evenly matched. What's going to be dropped out of here? It looks like two Magmadons. Boom! Right in the middle of the army. Huge stuns with Megs come. Oh my god! That is disgusting to see. A very, very nice engage from Fiction there. So many good tramples. Now it's just Yoru hoping that his reinforcements that show up can do the same back and getting on top. But look at how many Megs on top of Megs there are. The Magmadons are being surrounded and they get melted. Unfortunately, we see the supply for Yoru just drain out. And Fiction now with 100 supply lead, maintaining all of those great Magmadons after having those great flanks, and still just, it almost looks like a racing Magmadons as they come close and taking all that bonus to heavy damage from these Magmadons of Fiction. And now it's Fiction moving in into this fourth base, and again wisely separating off half his units to just battle over here. One Magmadon unfortunately getting caught here, and Yoru wisely taking any advantage he can as he needs it with this supply deficit. Fiction probably should have continued on to this base, but is instead going up here. He just has to keep the pressure on. He can't lay off now if he wants to win. He can't let Yoru get back into it and let Yoru get that supply back. So again, exactly what he needs to be doing. trampling onto the Magmadons, and that's going to be a GG from Yoru in game number 2. And here we are. We're right back at it. We are in game number 3. And playing Infernal for the 3rd match in the blue. This is Yoru. And now, still playing random and getting all 3 factions in this matchup. Playing Red Vanguard this time. This is Fiction. And we're on Lost Hope here, and we do have the units encountering each other in the middle of the map. That is not as common here on Lost Hope because it's four-player map, and it does mean that Fiction does get a scout out of Yoru's base, but Yoru did get to place down his shrine without having to worry about that being blocked. And the Hokey Pokey dance here, I'm pretty sure that Yoru is clever enough to know that, hey, I encountered your dog on the middle of the map. We are cross spawns. But what Yoru does not know is Fiction has gone straight into a command post and now into a barracks after that. So this is a fast expand build, whereas Yoru went Conclave first. And what's this? A Iron Vault. I mean, that's a pretty common follow-up, but Conclave into Shrine into Vault. So both of them with fairly eco-focused builds. Neither of them delayed their expo at all. But it is the command post first that is just a tiny bit quicker, tiny bit greedier, and meaning that more bobs are going to get out a little quicker, and that might mean more units in a couple of minutes once production is up and going. We got a mech bay on the way here for Fiction. And one way that Yoru can get ahead is by creeping, which is what we see him doing right now. And we also see that he's gone ahead and made a second round of gaunts, which is something you can choose to forgo if you're hoping to sorry about that, if you're hoping to tech up a little bit. Maybe the Greater Shrine on the no. If you're looking to put down a ritual chamber or get those plague axes going. But I think what we're seeing here from Yoru is instead, this is a Lost Hope play, which is we're on Lost Hope. I'm playing Infernal. That means I'm going to have map control for a couple minutes until a lot of units start coming out from Fiction. And until then, I should creep as much as I can. Fiends try and take a depot out, but instead just want to lure the units away. I love this. We see those Fiends luring the units all the way away, meaning there's no way you're going to come and take this camp from me. And there you go. Takes the camp, and at what cost? The Fiends are still microing. And it's 2 Fiends versus a dog. Who wins that? Let's see. Dog has to run away. Hedgehog shows up. And look, these units are still caught in the back of the base fighting the Fiends. So, you know, you might look at those Fiends and say, hey, well, you just ran some Fiends into the base and you lost them. No, you actually kept your opponent off creeping and off stealing these camps back from me for a while. In that time, not only was this captured, but Yoru was able to walk up and capture this one. At this point, maybe these units should be probably rolling out to recapture this camp. But again, Yoru's already in the center of the map taking the vision. So again, I think this was Yoru's strategy with the earlier units is, can I take advantage of the fact that Lost Hope has all these maps, easy to take, smaller map or smaller camps, sorry, that can be taken with, you know, as you grow your army quickly. That turns into income, which helps you grow that army and also helps you expand and keep caught up to your opponent who's doing a more eco build. And now it's also turned into map control. Sometimes this map control can be relinquished to the Vanguard because of units like the Hedgehogs here. Lancers, also Exos, also you can get a pretty deadly ball of Vanguard units that will, you know, force you home. But instead, Yoru is very brave, just coming right up the ramp and saying, I'm going to fight you. If you don't want to fight with your Hedgehogs, then I'm going to come up and try and kill whatever defenses you have and force you to come home. And so far, the Lancer's doing an alright job of tanking, but they are now dead. and a Nightfall infestation catching a lot of hedgehogs. The hedgehogs not wanting to really be under the cleavers of the brutes, and the gaunts kind of want to be in the back there making fiends out of the bobs, and they have made a few. And they take out the depots, just stand over here, kill more of these bobs, force the hedgehogs to come to you. And now Vulcan's out, and that is as a defensive tool, Vulcans are really good. Now, interestingly, Yoru is taking some of his units to try and fight the Vulcan. And I like that it was kind of more just zoning. He's like, let me just take a few of them, make it so that you're taking enough damage that you're worried about it, and then you're going to have to pull back. Huge. Vulcan down here caught behind a Magmadon and a Gaunt. Takes out the Gaunt, but gets mowed down with a nice trample. Should have used a jump jet, I think. If I recall correctly, you get jump jets automatically. No longer a research. And there's a jump jet on one of the Magmadons to stun it out. Not only does that stop a trample in its tracks, but it also stops the auto attack. That's GG from Fiction, and congratulations to Yoru.